Hello everyone, I'm back. Sorry for the constant breaks there, but alright, let me continue on forward here. Let me try to get it a one shot right now. Let me get it a one shot this video. A long sea night. The waterfront, normally so beautiful, seems dark, foreboding this night. Linguini slows his bicycle and pulls up under a street lamp near a bridge underpass. He climbs off the bicycle and prepares to drop the jar into the water. Remy's petrified, his heart racing. He presses his cute little paws against the glass, staring at Linguini with terrified eyes. Linguini hesitates, then pulls back, shouting at Remy, "Don't look at me like that! You aren't the only one who's trapped. They expect me to cook it again." Remy looks up. Huh? "I'm not ambitious. I wasn't trying to cook. I was just trying to stay out of trouble. You're the one who was getting fancy with the spices. What you throw in there? Oregano?" Remy shakes his head. No. No? What? Rosemary? Again, Remy shakes his head. "That's a spice, isn't it? Rosemary?" At this, Remy nods. "You didn't put rosemary in there? You didn't put rosemary in there?" Remy shakes his head. Linguini slumps down on the bank, sets the Remy jar next to him. Linguini, "I need this job. I've lost so many. I don't know how to cook, and now I'm talking to a rat as if you actually understand what I'm saying." Suddenly realization. "Did you not? You understand me?" More. Linguini. Remy nods. "So I'm not crazy. Wait a second. I can cook. Can I?" So many crazy wait. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me repeat that part. "So I'm not crazy. Wait a second. I can't cook, can I?" Remy shakes his head. "But you can, right?" Remy thinks uncertainly. "Don't be so modest. You're a rat, for Pete's sake. Whatever you did, they liked it." Lost in thought. "Yeah, this could work. Hey, they liked the soup." With an expensive gesture, Linguini accidentally knocked Remy's jar into the scene. Horrified, Linguini dives in after it. Jump cut to a long banks of scene minutes later. Linguini sits on a bench, soaking wet, the jar with Remy successfully retrieved and sitting next to him. Linguini, "They like the soup. You think you could do it again?" Remy nods. "I'm gonna let you go, but we're together on this, right?" Remy nods again. "Okay." Linguini sets the jar down on its side and carefully opens the lid. Remy looks up at him and takes off, escaping into the darkness. Cackling as he runs, Remy looks back at Remy's point of view, pulling away from Linguini, who stands forlorn and alone under the bridge. With Remy, he slows to a stop, moved by this pitiful sight. With Linguini, he sighs, defeated, turns sadly to his bike, then a sound, the clicking of tiny claws on cement. Linguini looks up. Remy, very cautiously, is coming towards him, back into the light. Remy looks at Linguini, who smiles. Linguini's flat night. Darkness. We hear keys fumbling in a lock. Linguini kicks the warped door a few times, opening it enough to enter, and wrestles his bicycle through. He turns on a light, revealing a tiny, odd-shaped room. 2 doors in the wall. One a bathroom, the other a closet, both tiny. 1 window, a table with 2 chairs, hot plate, a minuscule, ancient refrigerator. A ready couch doubles as a bed. A portable black and white TV rests precariously on one arm. I'm very curious when this takes place, when this movie takes place. It's not okay with one arm. This is it. It's not much, but it's not much. He looks around. To Remy shrugs. Could be worse. There's heat in light and a couch with a TV. So, you know, what's mine is yours. Remy looks over the new digs. He likes them just fine. Later, fast asleep on the couch, Linguini is bathed in the flickering light from an old and very romantic French movie on TV. Two lovers stand handsomely in the swirling steam of a soon-to-depart locomotive, staring at each other's eyes. Her, TV, are you? Is this a dream? Him, TV, the best kind of dream one can share. Tucked in to an oven mitt near the windowsill, Remy gazed dreamily at the lights of Paris. The romantic movie music swells, underscoring his emotion. Her, on the TV. But why here? Why now? Him. Why not here? Why not now? What a better place to dream than in Paris. Remy grins, slowly closes his eyes, dreaming. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that part kind of gave me chills. I gotta watch this movie again. Linguini's flat morning. Linguini awakens with a start. He looks up at the oven mitt. Linguini. Morning, little chef. Rise and suddenly realizes Remy's gone. Linguini. Idiot! I knew this would happen. I let a rat into my place and tell him what's mine is his. Linguini yanks open the refrigerator door and looks inside. Linguini. Eggs gone! Stupid! He's stolen food and hit the road! What did I expect? That's what I get for trusting a rat. As Linguini moves around the tiny alcove, he sees Remy, quite pleased with himself as he cooks omelets on the hot plate. 2 places have been set at the tiny table. Oh. What? Hey, what? Is that for me? Remy nods indefinitely, but with a considerable effort, sets the large omelet into the Linguini's plate. Linguini sits and puts a forkful into his mouth. Linguini, oh, this is really good. What'd you put in this? Remy holds up a basil leaf. Where'd you get that? Remy moves to the window and points to the roof garden above nearby flat. Linguini looks down at the enterprising rat. Linguini, look, it's delicious, but don't steal. I'll buy some spices, okay? Remy shrugs and turns to eat. Linguini glances at his clock. Oh no, we're gonna be late, and on the first day! Linguini shoves the rest of the eggs into his mouth and grabs his coat. Famished, Remy opens wide, ready for his first bite of food when Linguini snatched him up. Poor Linguini. Poor Remy. Come on, little chef! And runs out of the apartment. Gusteau's kitchen in the morning. The cooks are circling around Colette, listening with interest as she reads a review aloud from the morning paper. Colette. Though I, like many other critics, had written off Gusteau's as irrelevant since the great chef's death, the soup was revelation. A spice yet subtle taste experience. Says Skinner as he has entered and is now stopped in his tracks. Skinner. Leclerc? Leclerc? Yes, resumed reading. Against all odds, Gusteau has replicated our attention. Only time will tell if they deserve it. In the alley outside Gusteau's, Linguini waits outside Remy in Palm, staring uncomfortably at the kitchen entrance, working up the nerve to go inside. Linguini, well, aware he can't enter the kitchen carrying a rat. Yeah, that's true. Linguini looks half-heartedly for places to conceal Remy under his shirt, up his sleeve, in his sock, rejecting each in turn. Out of ideas, Linguini slowly opens the top of his pants. Remy looks up at him, appalled. Linguini, desperate. Look, I know it's weird and stupid, but neither of us can do this alone. So we gotta do it together, right? You with me? Remy gives a reluctant nod. Linguini glares at the kitchen entrance, psyching himself up. Linguini, so let's do this thing! Kitchen Gusteau's. The back of the door slams open. All heads swing to a slightly crazed Linguini standing in the doorway. He wilts a bit with the attention and attempts to cross inconspicuously to his station. The hidden rat causing a strangely spastic lurch. The other cooks watch him bewildered amusement. Linguini arrives at his station and looks uneasily at the new toque resting there. His new toque. He swallows, placing it on his head, and suddenly notices Skinner standing there. Skinner, welcome to hell. Now, recreate this soup. Take as long as you need, all week if you must. Skinner exits. Linguini looks at his station with dread. A block writer facing a blank page. Linguini, soup. Linguini station. Minutes later, raw soup stock bubbles at a low boil on the stove. Linguini stares at the variety carefully, prepared of ingredients, herbs, spices, diced vegetables, etc., that have been and laid out at his station. He's completely unsure of where to start. Remy peeks out from Linguini's collar and examines the scene. He scrambles underneath Linguini's shirt and across his chest, tickling him. Linguini laughs. Remy's head pops out from Linguini's shirt cuff. Sees Linguini reaching for a spice tin. The wrong spice. Remy signals Linguini to stop, but Linguini pays no attention. So, Remy gives Linguini Linguini's hand a nip. Linguini yelps, dropping the entire spice tin into the soup. Appalled, Remy gives Linguini another admonishing bite. Linguini yelps and curses, swats Remy in retaliation. Remy scurries into the other arm, giggles, and gives Linguini another nip. More yelps and cursing. The other cooks marvel at the strangeness of the spastic, giggling, yelping Linguini, visibly panicking. The giggling, yelping Linguini turns, lurching from his station to the food safe and closing himself inside. Inside the food vault, continuous. Linguini rips his shirt open, exposing his chest and arms, which are covered in angry red bite marks. Linguini, looks at Remy accusingly. Gestures at it, bite marks. Remy stares at the nearly hysterical Linguini. Linguini, this is not gonna work! Little chef, I'm gonna lose it if you do this anymore. We gotta figure out something else. Something that doesn't involve any biting or nipping or running up and down my body with your little rat feet. The biting, no. Scampering, no. No scampering or scurrying, understand? Little chef? Beat. Little chef? Remy gazed at his drifted away from Linguini to the shelves loaded with premium food. Remy looks weak with longing. Linguini, oh, you're hungry. Guilty, Linguini breaks a chunk from Linguini breaks off a chunk of a round of cheese and offers it to Remy. He scarfs it down. Linguini, calmer now, strains his clothes as he thinks out loud. Linguini, okay, the way I see it, you know how to cook, and I know how to appear human. We just need to work out a system so that I do what you want in a way that doesn't look like I'm being controlled by a tiny rat chef. Oh, would you listen to me? I'm insane. I'm inside a refrigerator talking to a rat about gourmet cooking. I will never pull this off. Kitchen outside food vault. Passing the food vault, Skinner hears a voice from within. Skinner, Linguini? Inside the food vault, Remy, still eating, listens to as Linguini pours his heart out. Linguini, we gotta communicate. I can't be checking for a yes or no. Head shake from a rat. Suddenly the vault door jerks open. Three things happen fast. Skinner sees a fleeting glimpse of Linguini with Remy. Linguini hits the light switch. The room goes dark. Skinner instantly flicks the light back on to see Linguini standing there as before. But Remy is gone. Skinner, the rat! I saw it! It no! A rat! Skinner, searching about Linguini. Yes, a rat! Right next to you! Stops, suspicious. What are you playing at? What are you doing here? Linguini. I'm just familiarizing myself with, the vegetables and such. Get out! Said Skinner. Linguini makes a hasty exit. Skinner calls out after him. Skinner, one can get too familiar with vegetables, Kitchen continues. Linguini speaks to Remy, he's hidden under the toque. Oh, it's probably the hat. Linguini, that was close. You okay up there? Inside Linguini's toque. Remy's surroundings are visible through the thin fabric. He looks up and sees they are about to collide with a waiter carrying a tray piled with dishes. Remy yanks back Linguini's hair like a horse's rein, causing Linguini to jerk backwards in an impossible limbo arch, pivoting under the tray of dishes and back up again. Marvelously averting disaster, Linguini blinks in amazement. What just happened? He ducks into the bathroom. Looks like there's some missing stuff. I guess it skipped some part. Yeah, it's fine. Linguini removes his toque. Looks at Remy in the mirror. Linguini, how did you do that? Still grasping hanks of Linguini's hair in his palm, Remy shrugs. Linguini's shoulders shoot up to his ears. Startling, Remy drops his arms. Linguini's shoulders drop. Linguini, whoa! A gleam comes to the rat's eyes. He jerks the left hank, causing Linguini's left arm to shoot up in the air. Linguini, marveling, whoa, that's strangely involuntary. Remy is yanking tufts of Linguini's hair like a kid with a new toy. Linguini jerks around like a helpless puppet. Remy stops. Look at the painting. Linguini in the mirror. Remy. One look and I knew, says Remy. Each of us had the same crazy idea. Linguini's flat at night. Montage. Learning to cook. You just imagine that playing. I don't know if that plays in that scene. Using hanks of Linguini's hair to control Linguini's actions, Remy pilots Linguini, who is blindfolded to keep him from cheating through an increasingly complex series of cooking tasks, everything from cutting vegetables to flipping crepes. During this comic montage, we see Remy learning precisely how to pilot Linguini, and at the same time, Linguini is learning how to surrender himself to being piloted. By dawn, Linguini and Remy have meshed into one finally owned cooking machine. Next day, Linguini stands off the side, fretting as Skinner pulls a ladle of soup from Linguini's pot and tastes it. Skinner, congratulations. You were able to repeat your accidental success, but you will need to know more than soup if you are to survive in my kitchen, boy. Colette? Skinner gestures to Colette, who watches with a scowl. Skinner continues, will be responsible for teaching you how to do things here. Skinner grins and exits. Linguini crosses to Colette. Linguini, a little too smooth. Listen, I just want you to know how honored I am to be studying under a... Colette stabs a knife through Linguini's shirt sleeve, pinning it to the table. Her voice is low, intense. No, you listen. I just want you to know exactly who you are dealing with. How many women do you see here in this kitchen? She brings a second knife through Linguini's sleeve. Only me. Why do you think that is? Linguini spooked, sputtering. Colette, because haute cuisine is an integrity. Wait, because haute cuisine is an integrity built upon rules written by stupid old men, rules designed to make it impossible for women to enter this world. But still, I am here. How did this happen? Linguini's bubbles in a desperate attempt at nonchalant. Because, yeah, Colette slams a third knife through Linguini's sleeve, throughoutly pinning it. Linguini is truly frightened. Colette, because I am the toughest cook in this kitchen. I've worked too hard for too long to get here, and I'm not going to be jeopardized by some garbage boy who got lucky. Got it? Linguini nods pathetically. Colette pulls the knife, handles out with a single jerk, and Linguini topples to the floor. Colette exits. Linguini peeks over the counter, dazzled. Linguini, wow! Skinner's office. Skinner watches an ad. Man Francisco de Puz finishes pitching his campaign for the latest Gusteau's frozen fruit product. The trademark Chef Gusteau art has been repainted. Gusteau now sports a kimono, coolie hat, and chopsticks. Behind this are similar campaigns for Gusteau's French pizza and Gusteau's microwave burritos. Skinner is captivated. Dupuis, easy to cook, easy to eat. Gusteau makes Chinese food Chinese. Skinner, excellent work, Francois, as usual. Dupuis, it's a good, isn't it? Skinner stands, offering handshake to signal the end of the meeting, as Francois packs up his portfolio, preparing to leave. Skinner strains the photo of himself with Gusteau that hangs on the wall. Skinner, I want you to work up something for my latest frozen food concept. Gusteau's corn puppies. Like corn dogs, only smaller, bite size. Dupuis starting sketching in pad. What are corn dogs? Skinner, cheap sausages dipped in batter, deep fried, you know. Americans whip something up, maybe Gusteau in overalls and huckleberry Tom hat. Dupuis displaying his sketch. Or as a giant ear of corn in doggy makeup. Skinner, yes, but with dignity. Oh, that went over my head when I was a kid. Dupuis exits. Skinner moves to his desk and the stack of unopened mail there, and begins to shuffle through it. Bill, in the pink envelope given to him by Linguini. He opens the envelope and reads, his bored eyes growling wider and wider with each line. He gasps, seizing the phone. Get my lawyer! Skinner's office. An hour later, Skinner's lawyer, Talon Leberthy, is reading Gusteau's will. Talon, the will stipulates that if after a period of 2 years from the date of death, no heir appears, Gusteau's business interests, including the restaurants and the rights to his name and image, will pass on to his sous chef. You, Skinner, I know what will stipulates. Brandishing a letter. What I want to know is if this boy changes anything. Skinner raises the window blinds, revealing view of the kitchen and Linguini, who looks unusually awkward among the practiced cooking staff. Talon looks from Linguini to a framed photo of Gusteau. Talon, there's not much resemblance. Skinner drops blinds. There's no resemblance at all. He's not Gusteau's son. Gusteau had no children, and what of the timing of all of this? The deadline in the will expires in less than a month. Talon drifts around the office, searching for something. Skinner. Suddenly, some boy arrives with a letter from his recently deceased mother claiming Gusteau as his father. Highly suspect. Talon spies Toke inside a display case. He turns to Skinner. Talon, this is Gusteau's? Skinner nods. May I? Skinner, of course. Talon carefully opens the display case, removes Gusteau's toque, and begins to inspect it. But the boy doesn't know. Brandishing the letter, she claims she never told him or Gusto and asks that I'm not tell. Talon, why you? Why does she want? What does she want? Talon spices something on the toque, a hair. He pulls a pair of tweezers from his coat, removes the hair, folding it carefully inside the handkerchief and pocketing it. Skinner, a job for the boy. Only a job? Well, yes. Then what are you worried about? If he works here, you'll be able to keep an eye on him. While I do a little digging, find out how much of this is real. Getting his coat, I'll need you to collect some DNA samples from the boy. Hair, maybe? The whole thing is highly suspect. He knows something. Relax. He's a garbage boy. I think you can handle him. Talon exits. Skinner stands in a spooked kitchen. Linguini finishes dicing a red pepper. He sets down his knife, carefully scoops up a small pile of dicing, walks over to a giant pot and drops it in. Returning to repeat the procedure, Colette, who has watched this, interrupts. Colette, what are you doing? Linguini, I'm cutting the vegetables. I'm cutting the vegetables? No, you waste energy and time. Colette slides into a chair up to the end of Linguini's prep table and slams the pot down on its seat so that the top is level with the table surface. Colette, you think cooking is a cute job? Wait, you think cooking is a cute job, huh? Like Mommy in the kitchen? She snatches Linguini's knife with him with one hand, several vegetables with other. With frightening speed, she dices them, flickering each dice pile into the pot with the knife dice flickering a dice flick. Well, Mommy never had to face dinner rush when the others come flooding in every dish. Different on our simple, all different cooking times, but must arrive on the customer's table at exactly the same time. Hot and perfect. Every second counts. In moments, Colette has completed a 10-minute linguini job. And you can't not be Mommy. Time cut. Another day. Linguini's cooking. He takes a pan off the burner and sets it to the side, which is already cluttered with utensils. Colette sees the mess and is outraged. Colette, what is this? Linguini stammers. Colette quickly clears the station, pitching it all into the sink full of dishwater. Colette, keep your station clear. When the meal rushes comes to happen, messy stations slow things down. Food doesn't orders pile up disaster. I'll make this easy to remember. Keep your station clear, or I will kill you. Time cut. Colette grabs Linguini by the arm and holds up his sleeve, which all smeared with multicolored stains. Colette, your sleeves look like you threw up on them. Keep your hands and arms in, close to the body like this. She demonstrates. See? Always return to this position. Cooks move fast. Sharp utensils, hot metal. Keep your arms in. You will minimize cuts and burns to keep your sleeves clean. Mark of a chef. Messy apron, clean sleeves. Time cut. Another day. Linguini and Colette shell peas. Colette's manner is easier, more cordial. I know the Gusto style's cold. In every dish, Chef Gusto always had something unexpected. I will show you. I memorized all his recipes. Linguini, writing it down. Always do something unexpected. No. Follow the recipe, Linguini. But you just said it. Colette continues. It was his job to be unexpected. It's our job to. Colette and Linguini, follow the recipe. Time cut. Another day. Colette pulls a loaf from a basket of freshly baked bread and shows it to Linguini. Colette, how do you tell how good bread is without tasting it? Not the smell, not the look, but the sound. of the crust. Listen. She holds the loaf to her ears. Linguini leans in to listen. Inside Linguini's toque, Remy also leans in to listen. Colette gives the bread a squeeze and the crackle is seductive. Resume scene. She and Linguini smile at the pleasing crunch. Colette, a symphony of crackles. Only a great bread sounds this way. Time cut. Another day in early morning. Colette and Linguini have become the prep. There is a new relaxation between them. Alright, I'm gonna have to stop here, but this has been fun. We'll continue more. Bye bye.